like being called out. Maddie didn't like being called out. At least called out. Then again, maybe they should have left me alone. Maybe they should have left well enough alone. Maybe when I left Virginia, they should have taken that as a hint to, I don't know, leave me alone. They're friends who wanted to threaten, harass, and assault me. When I told them to leave me alone, they should have left me alone. That means leave me alone. It means leave me alone. Now, nearly every single woman who wanted to play head games on this wants to do the same thing. They show exactly what is wrong with America. No means no unless you have a vagina. When you have a vagina and someone says, leave me alone or go away, that means apparently harass them repeatedly and get your friends involved. It apparently means make it such a big and major frigging issue for me that I literally have to get on Facebook and YouTube and beg for you to stop, to show that you will not leave me alone, you will not go away. Why did you send me a friend request after Natalie died? And why do you continue to harass me? Why have you not left? No means no. No means no for every victim. All right, just because you're a woman doesn't mean that no doesn't magically mean no anymore. When a man tells you no, he means no too. And you need to respect that. I'm tired of being abused because women in the United States are taught that no only means no if she says it. This is not acceptable. I am tired of being abused. I'm also tired of people claiming that they'll help me, and then all they do is talk about themselves, and then they complain to me that nobody will ever help them. Nobody ever helps them. You don't help anybody. What, you think moral support is what I need? No. I've explained to all of you I don't need moral support. Pretty words are not useful for the victim. You think telling the victim to let it go is okay? No, that is the meanest thing that you can do. To talk over them, to let them know that they are not important to you, that they don't matter. So we're gonna go over this, and we're gonna apply it to Stephanie Larkin. You think that it's okay to stalk an at-risk adult? You think it's okay to play head games? No. When an at-risk adult is being abused, they need help turning it in. They didn't come to you for advice. They came to you for help turning it in, for help putting a stop to it. And no matter what, all you're going to do is blow them off. Everyone blows us off. That's why we're at-risk adults. Stephanie Larkin is exactly the kind of person who gets people like me killed. She doesn't care. She has no conscience. She has no soul. There is nothing good about her. When you stalk an at-risk adult for literally years, and you refuse to leave, you refuse to go away, you've been told to leave. There is no reason for you to be here. You don't care about me. You don't care who hurts me. I want you guys to take a look. Since you've become my friends, how many times have you helped me to turn in the crimes against me? And how many times have you talked over me? I've shown time and again the help that I need. My own paperwork says so, but you guys don't stop to understand that. You're too busy talking to me like I'm retarded. You think I'm so incredibly stupid that every one of you morons playing Captain Obvious. How about instead of playing Captain Obvious, you listen? When every single person wants to tell me that Natalie is dead, I am aware. I am aware. I am not mentally retarded. The fact that you keep telling me that crap shows that you assume I am mentally retarded. You do harmful things to me because you believe me to be mentally retarded. If you didn't believe me to be mentally retarded, you wouldn't talk to me like you believe I am mentally retarded. When a woman feels rejected in this country, why do we teach them that it is okay to repeatedly harm a man? Why do we teach her that when a man tells her no, that it is okay for her to slander his name and run around with all of her little buddies making his life a living hell? Why is it that I have to scream at the top of my lungs on YouTube about the abuse that I endure? Because I continue to endure it. You guys want to believe that telling a man how to think and how to feel and what to do, that's helping him? No, it's not. You're talking down to him like he's a dog. You're complaining about people doing that to you, but then you're literally doing that to me. You're interrupting me all the time to tell me, oh, you can't stand it when men interrupt you, when men interrupt you. Huh. It's interesting. Well, you just keep on interrupting me and talking over me and letting me know that I don't matter. I hear all of you complaining about the men in your lives doing that to you. Do you stop to listen to yourself? Do you stop to look at the way that you treat others? And then they're not allowed to get frustrated. Why did you stick your nose in my business? Oh yeah, because you watched one of these Natalie channels. And rather than help me to clear it up, you're here playing head games. You're here trying to pawn me off on others. You're here not taking no for an answer. Well, you think if you bully me into doing what you want, that's help? That's not help. That is harmful. You get to see each and every one of these people who wanted to be predatory towards me. I ask them to go away first. Then I tell them to go away. Then I get very public about the fact that I am done with this. I will speak out. And what's your idea of help? To talk over me, to tell me what to do, what to think, what to feel? Let's go over these here lists. Let's take a look at what these things say. We'll read them for you. That way you understand them. This is survivor support. Let's start with this one. Forcing a person to have to do this in public. Do you stop to consider what that person has to go through? Ever. God, this thing is so slow. So many of you, your idea of helping me is to tell me that you support me. How? How do you support me? When I'm abused, you call it in with me immediately as a friend should? No, you don't. Instead, you get abusive at me. I get abusive back. Now, this should have been applied starting all the way back in Virginia in 2016. Let's look at this. False reporting is very rare, yet survivors face doubt and blame from others. Believe survivors and tell them so. believe. For over a year before Natalie was killed, people just wanted to argue. Here I am, taking this abuse, mass quantities of it. I'm obviously not false reporting. I'm obviously going to my friends for help about this before Natalie was killed. I'm obviously going to law enforcement before Natalie was killed. But you know what? It didn't matter. Because, see, nobody listened. Let the survivor choose when they want to talk and how much they want to share. Don't offer judgment or analysis. Instead, validate their experience. While you're passing judgment and trying to break everything down, you are interrupting them. They don't get to choose what they tell you. Things happen in a timeline, in a particular order. And it is important to listen to that particular order so that you are aware of what happened. Many of my predators pretended that I was abused because I spoke up. No, I spoke up because I was abused. Support with words. This one's horrible, actually. It says, say things like, I'm sorry. These are icebreakers at the very beginning. These aren't things that you try to hop in and say every sentence or every other sentence. It says, say things like, I'm sorry. You are not alone. It's not your fault, and how can I help? It's not often helpful to share your own feelings about it. That's right. Now, this one right here, this is the important one. It says, how can I help? Once you have asked that question, you need to listen, 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 listen. Respect privacy. Who respected this? Nobody. It says, if a survivor trusts you enough to tell you their story, don't tell anyone else. Well, that's the thing. I let everybody know that I had to go public with this, that I couldn't respect people's privacy because there were too many people being harmed, too many people being killed. Now listen to this. If a survivor trusts you enough to tell you their story, don't tell anyone else. The exception, minors, disabled, or elderly people in at-risk situations. I followed this. Nobody else did. When it comes to people being harmed, you no longer have the right to privacy. It does not exist. People are dead. They are dead. Dead. D-E-A-D. Dead. Natalie Bollinger is dead. She was shot in the head. D-E-A-D. Dead. You have zero right to privacy. I am an at-risk adult. I am a disabled adult in an at-risk situation. A whole series of at-risk situations. So, even though number 4 is respect privacy, you do not have that. You do not respect me or my privacy. Nobody did. It says number 5, respect or recognize boundaries. It says sexual violence can ruin a person's sense of safety. It's not just sexual violence. Now this here, we're going to get into the sexism of it. It says sexual violence can ruin a person's sense of safety. Yeah, how do you think it felt for me to be sexually assaulted in the prison? By the way, I wasn't convicted of a felony or the misdemeanors that I was charged with. I was not charged with felonies. The officers I was trying to turn in, Leslie Snell, they were going to be charged with felonies, so they broke the law. It says, provide a safe space for a survivor, such as giving alone time or asking before making physical contact. No, safe space for a survivor is not that. I mean, that is a start. But if you're not listening, you don't know what boundaries they have. When I tell people my boundaries, they march right over them. Every one of these women who wanted to come on after Natalie was killed wants to do this. I tell them to go away. My boundaries are that you go away. You are not up to anything good. You are not helping me. You do not accept no for an answer. You do not listen. There is no reason for you to be here. Number 6, advocate. Now, this applies to more than just sexual violence, just so you know. It says there's a lot of misunderstanding about sexual violence. Educate yourself about the facts and help inform others by sharing what you've learned. The same goes for when you're an autistic adult who's being abused. Whether it's sexual violence, physical violence, financial abuse. Find out why it is that we're being harmed instead of doing the exact things that harm us. It says recognize barriers. Now this one right here, all of you guys have an issue with this one, don't you? What are my barriers? Do you know? How many of you can name them? It says survivors face difficulties when reporting assault, seeking legal advice, getting medical support. They face difficulties when reporting assault. Like I said, seeking legal advice. Like I said, getting medical support. Like I said, many of my predators are police officers. Now these police officers, how am I supposed to turn them in alone? We're going to go over this as well. It also says, in talking about the trauma, knowing this can help. I try to tell you about my trauma, you won't shut up. I try to explain to you the assistance that I need to get medical support, but you won't shut up. I try explaining to you the issues that I have with getting the legal advice that I need. I have the legal advice I need. You guys won't shut up. I need to report the assaults. That's what I need help with, reporting the assaults. Someone needs to help me to do that. If I have to go alone, I will face difficulties because I am a disabled, homeless male. It says support decisions. None of you can do that. It says you can provide information and options for the survivor, but let them make their own decisions so they can regain a sense of control and empowerment. There's a big difference between providing information and options and trying to shove something down someone's throat over and over and over again. The number one thing you need to do, and on this one it says number 2, but number 1 is to listen. You will not know what help that they need if you can't shut up. If you're too busy offering judgment or analysis instead of listening, you are invalidating everything that they are telling you. So when it says support decisions, it says you can provide information and options for the survivor, but let them make their own decisions. Now, when you just want to argue with the victim, now there's a protocol to follow, and that's what you idiots are arguing. I'm telling you the protocol that I, as a disabled adult, have to follow in order for any of this to be recognized. And that is to go to a friend or family member that I trust. How can I trust you if you won't recognize my barriers? You do not support my decisions. You are constantly trying to argue or convince me that I shouldn't try to turn in my predators, that I should just take it. You don't stop to hear what I'm saying. You don't stop to hear the barriers or recognize that they even exist. You do not advocate for me. You do not recognize my boundaries. You do not respect my privacy. Your support with words is non-stop. That is useless. You do not listen. And whether you believe me or not, you still don't help in the way that I need, which is to follow the protocols. There are protocols when an at risk and disabled adult has to turn in crimes that have been committed against them. Now it says here, stay connected. Even if the sexual violence happened a while ago, the pain can still exist. Check in to remind them you still care about them and believe them. You know what? It doesn't matter when it happened. When they came to you when it first happened, you should have helped them to turn it in. Now, maybe they don't want to turn it in. I don't personally trust anybody who won't turn it in. I don't trust that it happened, especially if the person who's making the claim is female. There is a reason for that. We have taught every female in America that if she doesn't get what she wants, or if a man tells her no, or she doesn't get what she wants right when she wants it, it's okay for her to destroy a person's life. When males tell me, I'm far more likely to believe it because males don't come forward. Males don't come forward because instead of helping them to turn it in, like they should, people want to offer judgment and analysis and invalidate our experience. We just need to man up. Let's go to the next one. There's a whole bunch of these that are extremely sexist. This one here, this one here, this one here. These ones are all extremely sexist. They are very pointed at females being the victims and males being the predators. These are supposed to be sites that teach, well, that are supposed to be helpful for both men and women. But no, that can't happen because we've taught every person in America that sexism is the only way to be, and that is not okay. It says, I know I am respected when people treat me like I am important. If they're talking over you and they're talking about themselves and they're telling you what to do and what to think and what to feel, they are not treating you like you're important. I know I am respected when people pay attention to me. What kind of attention? The people who get a hold of me most of the time, they're getting a hold of me to threaten, harass, or intimidate me. That's what the attention most people pay to me. Look at how many predators get on my YouTube channel and harass me. I'm trying to get help showing the truth. But that's not the right kind of attention. The attention that you need to be giving is to listen to the victim. Listen. Listen. The victim knows what they need more than you do. They understand what's going on more than you do. It says, people listen. I know I am respected when people listen to me and look me in the eye. Well, I'm autistic. You don't have to look me in the eye. Matter of fact, that makes it a lot more complicated. You don't have to look me in the eye to listen to me. But when you listen, you need to actually listen. I know I am respected when people listen to me. If they're talking over me and interrupting me, telling me how to think, telling me how to feel, and asking 2,000 questions, you're just grilling the person. You're just making them feel completely like crap and showing them that they are not important to you. They do not matter. What matters is what you want to know. What matters is your words. When you want to completely domineer the conversation with all of your crap, you're showing them that you're not going to listen to them because you don't respect them. Now, you guys, when I say know your role, I am the victim here. That means I am the one who should be listened to. You do not respect me if you can't listen to me. It says people don't interrupt me when I am talking. Well, that has been a pretty much a constant, hasn't it? I literally have to interrupt them to get the conversation back when it shouldn't be a conversation. When someone is being victimized, it is not a conversation. It's not a discussion. It is you listening and helping them to turn it in. That is what it needs to be. I am an at-risk and disabled adult at a very at-risk situation. If you want to continue to interrupt me, then you need to leave. You need to respect my boundaries. If you cannot treat me like I'm important, pay attention to me, listen to me, and not interrupt me, why are you here? These are the things that it takes in order to help someone who is being abused. You have to respect the victim enough not to talk over them, and that is impossible when the victim is a male. It says people don't try to finish my sentences. You know what? Most of the time, people don't try to finish my sentences. They literally talk over me to tell me something way off in left field, don't got nothing to do with my situation. Something I said triggered a story they heard once, and next thing you know, I'm listening to a 30-minute long story that's got nothing to do with my situation while this person changes the subject. It says people care what I think. Well, you don't care what I think. You're constantly telling me you don't care what I think, and I shouldn't care what other people think. Meanwhile, I am abused over what other people think. Then when I post up publicly, you show how very much you care what other people think, while telling me I shouldn't care what other people think. You showed me complete and total disrespect, and then you expected privacy in a situation where you don't have the right to it. But okay, whatever, right? You should have had some respect for me. Oh, there's more. It's right here. Here's one. Healing model of compassion. Oh shit, right at the very beginning. Look at this. It says, listen. Over and over with closed mouth. If I say shut up, will you shut up? If I ask you to please listen to me, will you please listen to me? If I ask you to please listen to me over and over, but you just can't keep your mouth shut. Well, right here it says, listen over and over with a closed mouth. Don't assume you know better or place expectations, and all of you do that. This is your let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. You assume you know better than the retarded autistic guy. And you want to play let's make a deal. Sean, if you do this, 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 and this, then I'll do this. I do what you want, and then you disappear. Well done. Listen over and over with closed mouth. My dad couldn't do that. Teresa Orn couldn't do that. My dad wanted to talk to me non-stop about prison. Teresa Orn wanted to talk non-stop about her dead husband. These are not the same thing. It says, accept, believe the experience to be true. Don't instruct or interrogate. And I show you guys, I show you over and over with examples how you can't keep your mouth shut. You assume you know better. You place expectations, and then you want to instruct or interrogate. You're not listening. You're busy talking. It says, oh, and also it says accept,
Believe the experience to be true. Lots of people said that they believed me. Then they did none of the other stuff on here. It's nuts. It says empathize, put yourself in their shoes. This is something I am very good at. You can hear that even when I'm angry at people, I'm still putting myself in their shoes. They're not putting themselves in mine though. It says don't reject or criticize personal choice. And yet you do. Well, you guys notice that when I go at it, I'm not going to empathize. I've already done that. You victimized me for it. If you're going to reject or criticize my choices, do you even know what choices I have? No, you don't listen with a closed mouth. You assume you know better and you place expectations. That's your fault. Yours. That is never the victim's fault. Validate. Mirror back what you understand. Don't undermine or oppose. And this is what all of you want to do. Right? Validate it. Well, you're undermining and opposing. You're arguing. You're telling me how to think and how to feel. You're telling me about the situation that I'm in. And as far as mirroring back what you understand, you literally let me know that you do not understand. So what you're saying is, no, that's not what I'm saying. This is why I record it, so that people can go back and they can listen to themselves. Perhaps if they listen to themselves, they will understand. When I was at Mandy Singer's, I told her over and over again about how, well, her voice was domineering and overbearing and scary. And I didn't say it that way, of course. And this is a woman who's been trying to get into parenting classes for her daughter both, because they do need help and they do recognize it. For me, it was not my place to undermine or oppose their decisions because they were absolutely right. And also with Mandy, when she went back and listened to her voice, she realized why it is that her grandson was having meltdowns. Why her grandson was not hearing what she was saying. She was not treating him with respect. And she started treating him with respect while I was there. It was amazing. It did make a difference. Here it says identify. Find your parallel experience without shifting the focus. That means your parallel experience, this is part of putting yourself in their shoes, believe it or not. When somebody is telling you about something that hurts them or harms them, put yourself in those similar shoes. Try to understand why it is that they have those fears. When you find your parallel experience, when they talk about how their friends are being killed, you think about your friend who was killed, but that doesn't mean that you talk nonstop at length about your dead friend. No, this person needs help. Making it about you is not help. So, without shifting focus. It says, don't deny voice or personhood. That means don't talk over me. Don't crush my voice. Don't crush me as a human being. I'm not some whinier trying to get a participation medal. When I fight for your rights, I actually fight for your rights. When I stand between you and the person you're trying to stab to death, I actually stand there physically. When Jamie was punched in the back of the head there in Hood River, the Dalles, out of all those people standing there, who was it that stood up? It says encourage, offer support on their path. Is this the support that you want to give? Your advice? Or talking about you and all of your experiences? See, finding your parallel experience doesn't mean talk over them. This is still somebody who is been victimized and is in a highly volatile situation and may be highly volatile themselves out of fear because they are stuck in that situation. They are stuck with those abusers. They are stuck with no assistance turning those people in. They are stuck without support. If you're going to offer support, though, you need to follow through and you need to support them how they need.
Well, they threw it out the window last night, didn't they?
It says, don't shun, place conditions, or ask others to join in double abuse. And we really need to get into that. Double abuse. This is, you go to get help about the abuse that you're enduring, and the people that you go to are neglectful, or hateful, or angry. Angry with you for coming with them for help. We get into a lot heavier stuff on this. This is one of the most important ones here. Ask, how can I help? Don't withdraw or disconnect. And what do you all do? You talk over me. I beg you to listen. I beg you to observe me as a human being. Not to deny my voice, but you want to tell me what to do. I tell you how you can help, but you can't stop interrupting me while I'm telling you that. It says don't withdraw or disconnect. That's the thing, is that y'all tend to withdraw or run away when an at-risk adult is being abused. You tend to look the other way. That's why I get this training stuff. That's why I have the training videos. This is why I make sure that I collect the information. But you guys just want to argue it.
Yeah.
It says grieve with them for all they have lost. Don't deny, avoid, or suppress the healing power of mourning. Telling me to just let it go is so horrible. Especially when it's not just mourning, it's the abuse. I didn't just lose my best friend. Alright, I had been abused over my best friend for over a year before she got her brains blown out. Do not instruct or interrogate. There's a lot more of these on here, and we're not going to go through all of them. What we are going to do
No, I agree.
This is my paperwork from the hospital here, all the way back in November. November 19th of 2022. That's quite a while ago. Let's go up here to the top. Now, this is the stuff that I went to before Natalie was killed. How can elder abuse be prevented? Now, this is the stuff that I have been telling you since day one that you just want to argue about like I'm retarded. Or you think that telling me that Natalie is dead somehow magically means you don't got to listen to this and none of this is important. If you're a friend, you will listen. Because the first people it addresses is a family member or a friend. Who did I go to? Who did I ask for help? I went to my friends because I already knew my family didn't care. It says, try to see the person regularly. None of you do that. Hell, I have to beg you just to pretend I exist for a couple of minutes. You'll ignore me for months and months and months.
I don't know.
I literally have to call you out publicly for you to get the point. It says frequent visits will help you determine if the person shows signs of abuse or neglect. And there's also the fact that I tell you that I'm being abused and neglected. You are neglecting me. You, my friends, are the ones who neglected the abuse. You're the ones who looked away. You're the ones who wanted to tell me how to think and how to feel. Offer reflection. Ooh. Says get to know the staff who are taking care of the person. Did any of you try that? Did any of you care? Did any of you help me to turn it in? No. You did not get to know the staff who are taking care of me. I've posted up news articles about how horrible the staff that I have had to deal with are. Sarah Nelson is in prison for sexual assault against an inmate. Michelle Ducini is in prison for sexual assault against an inmate. Michelle Quinn is no longer the sheriff of Garden County because she thought it was okay to beat people up. And then there's Polly Olson. Guess what she's locked up for? Stealing a lot of money from the taxpayers of Dual County, like I told you she was doing. All of these people are people by name that I told you about. People by name who I tried to turn in. People by name who are my predators. It's not men. It's not women. These 4 women were specifically predators because they were predators, not because they were women. It says, express any concerns you may have right away. Are you doing that? Are you doing that? No, you're not. If you are expressing them, they're only to me. It says, keep notes of the conversations. Well, I do that. Do any of you? No, you want to argue it. This is the stuff that an at-risk adult has to follow if they are being abused. These are the things that help to stop abuse from happening to begin with. But you wouldn't try these things. It says take pictures if there are signs of abuse or poor health standards. Well, you really think that the guards are gonna do that? You think after sexually assaulting you, they're gonna take pictures of what they did to you? Do you think after physically assaulting you, they're gonna take pictures of what they did to you? No, they're gonna go out of their way not to. It says offer to accompany the person to medical appointments, financial institutions, and other important meetings. These are all the things that I told you that I needed. Specifically, the people that I needed it from. These are the things that I've been saying I need since before Natalie was killed. Now, it says if you are an older person, which this is the wrong paperwork that they gave me, but the protocols for the most part are the same. Parts that are not the same, well, you'll get to see how those harm the victim 100% of the time. It says remain active, avoid isolation. Well, the abuse that I'm enduring is because of social isolation. And this is in this paperwork as well, so we're going to go over that. It says cultivate strong support network of family or friends. You know, obviously I didn't have that. Obviously, people had zero respect for me, did not respect me as a human being, did not respect my boundaries, and did not respect my words or my voice. I've tried this. My family and friends have gone out of their way to literally not do these things, any of these things, to argue with me and treat me like crap, as if I am retarded for telling them, this is official paperwork here, bud. This is from the hospital. It says, be active in taking care of your health problems. I'm doing my best, but I need assistance. I do not have it. It says, do what you can to remain healthy. I'm doing my best, both physically and mentally. I have been trying to rehabilitate myself from the physical injuries incurred at the hands of the police in multiple locations for trying to turn in police. It says avoid signing documents or transferring money or property to anyone without first getting legal advice. Well, without a friend or family member, the legal advice is that I have to get a friend or family member to help me with signing documents, transferring money or property. But I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have it. I don't have it. This is friends or family member, friends or family member. Right there, it says family and friends. Right up here, family member or a friend. It says ask for professional help right away if you need help managing your health care, daily living, or finances. I have repeatedly. My friends and family ignore me, and these places blow me off because they get money either way. If they do their jobs, well, then they don't get that money every single month. I needed help and still need help managing my health care, daily living, and finances. It says, assert your right to be treated with respect and dignity. Oh, you mean stand up for myself and then get arrested or get beaten up? Get physically or sexually assaulted? Have my things stolen from me from false charges? Get yelled at and accused of yelling because I stand up for myself? You're insane. Without a friend or family member, this will get you hurt. Literally. It says, ask a family member or friend you trust to present you as power of attorney in case you need this. I have. I don't have anyone to ask to do that. I don't have anyone I can trust. And that's because they have showed me they cannot be trusted. They have showed me repeatedly that they have no respect for me, that they're not going to listen to me, that I do not have a voice. It says, refuse to allow anyone who you do not choose to become involved in your financial affairs. I never had any choice in that. Zero choice in that. When I tried telling on the police, they did whatever they wanted, did not care. And yes, absolutely, it affected my finances, and they knew that it would. Over and over again, law enforcement who harmed me before Natalie's death repeatedly were allowed to physically assault me, up to and including Sheriff Scott DaCosta and the Nebraska State Patrol. And that did absolutely mess with my finances, as well as the way that the hospitals and, of course, the ambulance services, that's right, Polly Olson worked for the ambulance service, and Scott Costa, as always, was able to go to his friends to help him get away with his felonies. It's not any better here in Tillamook. These people are lucky I don't believe in lighting the town on fire. It says, outline your wishes with advance directives or a living will for medical decisions. I'm called at-risk adult for a reason. These are great and fine and dandy, but without a friend or family member to help you to do these things, you're not allowed. You are not allowed. I have it repeatedly recorded with hospitals and doctors always telling me it's someone else's job. What are the treatments for someone who is abused or neglected? Well, the first thing, as far as treatment goes, should be turning in their predator. It says medical treatment for any injuries, being seen by a healthcare provider if there are memory problems or dementia, support groups or mental health counseling if the older person seems lonely, anxious, or depressed, financial guidance to help manage money or property. Why is turning in the predator not on this? What are the treatments for someone who is abused or neglected? Why is turning in the predators not on this? Down here it says if you or someone you know is being abused or neglected, contact. And then you guys don't do any of that. None of you ever try any of that stuff. Here we go. Abuse and neglect refers to any way in which someone physically or emotionally harms or takes advantage of a person. It also includes neglecting to protect an older person from physical, financial, or emotional harm. The police not only neglected to do those things, they committed each and every one of those against me repeatedly. So, what are the different kinds of abuse and neglect? Let's go over these. How good of friends have you really been? The different kinds of abuse and neglect include physical abuse. Check. It says this includes rough handling, threats with a weapon, throwing objects, pushing, hitting, hair pulling, force feeding, and improper use of restraints or medicines. Check, 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 and check. Sexual abuse. This involves unwanted sexual contact that is forced or tricked. Check, check, and check. Emotional abuse. This includes verbal attacks, rejection, humiliation, intimidation, social isolation, or threats. Abuse may also include denying the person participation in decisions that affect his or her life. Check, 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 and check. Next. We're not done yet. Financial abuse. This includes theft, fraud, and improper use of influence to gain control over money or property. Financial abuse is the most common form of elder abuse. Check, 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 and check. Thank you, officers, for committing all of these felonies against me. That is awful nice of you. This is what law enforcement is allowed to do when you tell on them. Neglect. This is a caretaker's failure or refusal to meet the needs of an older person. This can include failure or refusal to provide food, shelter, clothing, personal hygiene, medical care, and social stimulation. So, there you go. I have been socially isolated. It says, what are the risk factors for abuse and neglect? Again, more stuff that I've been telling you for literally years that you just want to argue about. Abuse is more likely to occur if a person is alone, isolated, or lonely. What have my predators taken advantage of? The fact that I am alone, isolated, and lonely. I have experienced many recent losses. I am mentally and physically disabled. I cannot manage my personal care or finances as a result of this abuse. I have contact every single day with people who use and abuse alcohol and drugs. Most of the people that I have had to go to for help have been on alcohol or drugs. This one I don't qualify for. It says is over 75 years old. The frequency of abuse increases with advancing age or assumption of age. A lot of people assume I'm 60 or older. That's strange to me. So it lives at a care facility with a shortage of beds, too many patients, or not enough staff. That would be, every single place I was at. Literally every single one of them, from Clearview that's closed down to the Lincoln Correction Center that has already incarcerated no less than 3 people that I personally told on. Bless you. It says abuse may also occur with caregivers who are under great stress. Oh, how much have these people talked about themselves and their stress? The stress that they're under over and over at length and at end. Yeah. My friends and family, those are my caregivers. That is the closest thing that I have. Except, of course, when I am locked up in a government facility, a hospital, a jail, or a prison. It says, this may be due to financial, marital, or work problems, a recent decline in health, or loss of a loved one. And with most of these people, absolutely, they tell me about all of these things. This is why I know all about their personal lives, and they know nothing about me or my life. They're always telling me
about their stresses, their financial stresses, their marital stresses, their work issues, or of course, their health issues, or their dead loved ones. It becomes story trading instead of listening to the victim with the intent of helping him in. Why did you contact me? Why did you offer to be a friend? And then this is what you do. All of these things. Abuse may also occur with caregivers who have a history of mental illness, such as depression or mental disability. So many of the people that I have had to go to for help do have a history of mental illnesses, such as depression or mental disabilities. They tell me at length about their mental illnesses, their depression, and their mental disabilities. Abuse alcohol or drugs. Abuse may also occur with caregivers who abuse alcohol or other drugs. Shannon Alvarado, very scary situation. Brett Roloff, very scary situation. Sally Treon, very scary situation. Abuse of alcohol and other drugs. The same thing with Joshua Hebert. The same thing with Kayla Trujillo. How do I know if someone is being abused or neglected? Well, number one, I will tell you. I will straight up tell you. Okay? So someone may be going through abuse or neglect if the person has physical signs of abuse, such as injuries to the skin, such as burns, scars, bruises, sores, rashes, broken bones, weight loss, injury to the genitals, and difficulty walking. I've had most of those. It says, does not have necessary medical and personal items such as medicines, hearing aids, or eyeglasses. Shows behavioral signs of abuse or neglect. The older person may, and you guys can see, these are very important. The victim may move away from or seem afraid of a caregiver, i.e. police and or family. It says, may withdraw socially. I was forced into social withdrawal. Very big difference. When you are abused, every time you try to see your friends, yes, that does make you recoil and withdraw. It says, become violent or agitated. I am absolutely agitated. I'm not violent. I do believe in property damage in the case of human lives being at stake. Absolutely. Short of that, I am nonviolent. It says, seem depressed. I am depressed. I'm not worth hearing. I'm not a person to you. Everything is about you and your wants. I do have nightmares and difficulty sleeping. But instead of understanding these to be signs of trauma and abuse, you just pretend that I'm some nut job who deserves to be punished for the rest of my life over your ignorance. It says, lives in an unhealthy or unsafe environment. I am absolutely in an unhealthy and unsafe environment. I have no friends here. This is a small town. It's like living in Chapel, Nebraska. If you're not part of the KKK, nobody loves you. Says, shows signs of not being cared for, such as poor hygiene or dirty clothes. I can't financially afford to do all of the things that you guys expect of me. I cannot physically do all of the things that you want me to do. That's the problem. You don't want to hear that. Medicaid and Medicare fraud units. These are the places I need you to call with me. It says these teams check into cases of health, medical, and financial abuse or neglect. Without a friend or family member, though, these places will blow you off. Those of you who don't have that issue, congratulations. You don't have to live the hell that I do. Consider yourself lucky instead of treating me like crap because you got what you wanted. Chances are pretty good that you're either a female who is a mother, you are a father, or You have friends and family who will help and have been helping. It says, follow these instructions at home. Keep trusted individuals involved in your life. Getting somebody to even care is impossible. Trusted? You got to be kidding me. It says, stay connected with legal experts who can help you, guide you in times of uncertainty. These legal experts tell me I need to go to a friend or family member or I will not be heard. I've already been in contact with the legal experts. As far as staying in contact with them, they're not allowed to do that. That's what they explained to me. They're not allowed. Without a friend or a family member, it makes no difference. That's what makes the difference. That is literally what makes the difference. So when you want to argue with the victim about that, you're just being a jerk. It says keep all follow-up visits. This is important. And it is. Keeping the follow-up visits is important, but you have to do it with them. That's also very important. Get help right away if you or someone you know is being physically abused. Right away. Right away. How many times is it said right away in this? Right away. Get help right away if you or someone you know is being physically abused, being verbally or emotionally abused, having food or water withheld for long periods of time, showing signs of not being fed, not receiving needed medical care. Now, the food ones, I'm able to make sure that those are taken care of, and a lot of other people have made sure that the food is taken care of. But you also understand that if you give a sandwich to somebody and expect that to fix the problem, that's not the solution to fixing that problem. They're going to need a sandwich tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Are you just going to keep on throwing sandwiches at them? Don't be stupid. Let's see. This one, of course, is the wrong paperwork because they did give me the elder abuse paperwork and not the developmental disability paperwork, but it's much the same. It says elder abuse and neglect refers to any way in which someone physically or emotionally harms an older person or takes advantage of him or her. The signs of abuse include burns, broken bones, weight loss, bruises, confusion, fear of caregivers, and worsening of physical and mental health. Obviously, my physical and mental health are getting far worse. It says the best way to prevent this abuse, is to have frequent contact with the adult. Frequent contact. It says express any concerns you may have right away. Let's make sure we say it one more time, right away. It says, if you or someone you know has been abused or neglected, again, seek help right away. We live on a disgusting planet, and it's the human beings on this planet that make it disgusting. Let's go over this one more time. If people had a little more respect for one another, we'd live in a better world. I know I am respected when people treat me like I am important. People pay attention to me. People listen to me and look me in the eye. People don't interrupt me when I am talking. People don't try to finish my sentences. People care about what I think. You know how we end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.